Hello again, everybody. Um, we've been doing this. We gotta quit meeting like this. This is crazy, and it seems like these storms have repeatedly been catching me at the worst time. I was working on getting the live stream ready, and it turns out my computer restarted yesterday, and so it kind of like I found that a few things were haywire, and as I was trying to get those things fixed, this severe thunderstorm warning comes up. So it's it's just crazy. Now, ping pong sized hail is what's reported in this one. Of course, hail has been with us for a while now. This has been just part of it. I mean, at this point, any storm that pops up is a hail producer. I mean, that's kind of just the way it's going right now. And so that's where we're at, and that's going to be probably the biggest concern. And I look really different on here. Let me keep trying to adjust this because this is just, yeah, I don't particularly like what it's doing here. That's terrible. The chair's in the way. This is just all around bad. All around bad. And then the white balance is off, so I'm like I look a lot more like tan than I should almost. Like the brightness was all off a second ago. Now it's not working. Too blue. Okay, that's a little more realistic. So okay, let me just try to, let's go with this. I think do I look normal? I mean, it's hard to say. So it's, yeah, I think I look okay. Well, everybody think I look okay? Let me put this down too so this is not in your way. So this storm is moving eastward, and somebody asked about Palmer, and the thing with the thing is that with this storm, it's not moving a whole lot. It's moving generally eastward. It's not displacing that much. Moving into Midlothian, and really the biggest difference that you're going to see over time in this storm is the fact that it's blowing up. It's getting wider. So Midlothian is probably going to be feeling this. Red Oak will be feeling this. Ping pong sized hail already kind of advised in this too. In fact, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and grab one more thing here. I'm just going to grab actually going to grab a stool here, because if we end up doing this for a while, I might need to just sit down and take a load off. So I'm just going to set that right there. So yeah, I mean, the storm that we're looking at right now is not particularly, it's not a large storm yet. It's kind of elongated, and it seems to be kind of anchored. And there's an update there, so there's a better idea. It is moving into Midlothian right now, and you can see this is the stationary front that we're watching, and that was I mentioned in the radar only stream, which of course is an option for you if you just want to watch the radar, no zooming around and all that kind of thing. But this is the outflow boundary that we've been watching, and that's kind of the impetus, the focal point for all the storms. And you can see that it popped up right along that stationary front. So yeah, so we're going to be seeing this moving into Midlothian, going to be affecting probably the Red Oak area pretty soon. It's affecting far southern Mansfield, over in Lillian there, just outside of Lillian, moving towards Venus now. So if you're in far northeastern Johnson County, northwestern Ellis County, this is affecting your area. This could be easily another day where we just have a couple of storms that pop up, right? So, I mean, this could easily turn into just a quick little, thing. And at this point, I'm informal enough. I'm gonna drink soda on here. we're going to enjoy this, right? Because this is what, day 3, 4 of this. It seems like this has been going on forever now. So, you know, we're gonna just kind of hang out and enjoy this the best we can. Here, we'll say this. Let's say this. If I get hail here at the studio, I will use the hail as ice cubes. Let's just that you know, people love to do the little kind of outrageous thing. Not that that's really outrageous, but how badass would it be? Sorry, I shouldn't use language. How awesome would it be to drink a Dr. Pepper with hail as ice cube? That'd be like the most weatherman thing possible, right? Makes me wonder if that's something Reed Timmer's done. I'm gonna have to ask that question, because that would just be hilarious. So, you know, we'll see what happens. But if we get hail at the studio, we will make that happen somehow. It may not be a lot of hailstones. My wife will be the one retrieving them. She's got kids to keep up with. She's got to stay safe. We'll see what happens. But that's going to be the thing. Because at this point, we have to enjoy this, right? I mean, we're going on 3-4 days straight of this. Hail in Midlothian. Okay, so I'm hearing that there's hail in Midlothian. So let's go ahead. If you have pictures of the hail, here's what I want you to do. Before you go sending me pictures of hail in your hand, okay, I know everybody's hands look good, right? What you want to do is get the hail next to a golf ball or a baseball or a quarter, something where the size is the same across the board. Hands are all different sizes, okay? So just, you know, get it next to something, or if you really want to go expert mode, put it next to a ruler, okay? Anytime you go to the Skywarn trainings, the National Weather Service usually will give you a card. It's like a business card size that has a little ruler on there so you can measure the hail. That helps them, helps me, bada bing, bada boom. So do that. So a couple of things I want to mention, a few things I want to mention. Housekeeping stuff, right? You can see the storm behind me. Housekeeping things. For one, I was reminded today that we are now accepting, or getting at least eligible for, super thanks on YouTube. It used to be super chats, and then I found out later it's actually super thanks. So actually, speaking of YouTube, I need to put in the radar only stream. Here, I need to put that in the radar only stream here. I'm leaving people out. Let me get that posted here, but I will also say that the Venmo and the Cash App have been filled up the last couple of days. You guys have been rocking that, and that has been amazing. So thank you so much for doing that. Any of that stuff helps. Trust me, any of that stuff. It helps greatly. Okay, so I've got that in the radar only stream here too. Make sure those folks know. Okay, getting a message out of Midlothian here. Let me grab this stand too, so that we can actually. Okay, it looks like pea-sized hail off Bob White Road near Midlothian. So that's what one message says. Get that damn chair out of there. Get that out of the way. Get that out of the way, man. Why is that? Okay. All right. So let me.
Am I being summoned to get hail?
There's no hail right now, but if there is hail, we're going to use it as we're going to use it as ice cubes in Dr. Pepper. How can you not love that?
Ew.
It's well, you wipe it off. It's fine.
No.
It's fine. It's fine. It'll be fine.
It's gross.
It'll be fine. We'll be fine.
I'm not going to use it. You can use it.
That's what I said. I would use it.
Okay.
It's my wife trying to be smart because I'm not being smart right now. But, I mean, it's social media. What are you going to do, right? And we've only got a few days of this left. Eventually, this will stop. I'm sure the people getting hail will love that, but eventually it will stop. So pea-sized hail reported in Midlothian. We're looking at the possibility, I would say, of up to ping-pong-sized hail right now. That's what the National Weather Service is saying. So as this continues to push eastward, be aware in Oak Leaf, Ovilla, Red Oak, those areas, Pecan Hill, this could be headed your way. And then North Waxahachie, I would say, in the next several minutes. I mean, anybody in this polygon, it's like James Spann always says, respect the polygon. And so you want to be paying attention to that. And I'm going to open the window behind me here. So there might be anybody paying attention to the lighting might notice that the lighting is a little weird, but I'm going to go ahead and open that window at least a little bit so I can see what's going on out here. But waiting for a mom, don't hug me, I'm live. Yeah, I am married. Thanks. So the hail in this storm, the problem is the last few days, there's been so much lift that these storms can very quickly intensify, right? And we saw that in really most of the storms that we've seen. The storm that came up through Johnson County, for one, that was a late night storm that wasn't even supposed to last that long. People were calling that thing dead, DOA before it even left Stephenville, and it moved through. And then yesterday that storm intensified very quickly as it went through Red Oak, dropped a bunch of hail there. So these storms here too can intensify very, very quickly. So just keep that in mind. And I mean, we're looking, you're over in Ferris, Palmer, those areas. You're going to be watching this storm. It's not headed that way now. I would say it may be there in the next half hour or so, maybe. Let's see if we can get a speed on this storm, how fast this thing is moving. Again, it's a little deceptive on the movement because the speed at which the storm itself is actually displacing, it says 30 miles per hour. That's a little deceptive here, though, because the way the storm is moving, it's also building eastward. So it's actually building faster than it's actually moving. Okay, I'm probably getting, we're getting raindrops now. So here at the studio, that's what I'm talking about. This storm is building eastward so fast that the hail threat is moving faster than 30 miles per hour at this point, at least from what I can tell. So North Waxahachie is getting it now, right where 35 and 287 come together. That's one area where you're going to be seeing that. This is going to continue on eastward, and Palmer, Garrett, Ferris could be next in getting this storm in that area. So back in Midlothian, we have one report of what I'm told is pea-sized hail. Let me get a, let's see. Okay, yeah, 67 and 287 in Midlothian. We're looking at quarter-sized hail. Let me get that to the National Weather Service here. Okay. Yep, so that's what we're looking at, and rain falling here at the studio, but I would not be surprised if that turns into a hail situation here very quickly, because the amount of lift we have is creating hail very, very quickly. I mean, this is probably going to deteriorate here pretty fast. Let me see here. Okay, and quarter-sized hail it loves in Midlothian is what I'm hearing from Matt, actually. So, yep, that tracks absolutely. So the studio is in northeast Waxahachie, or northeast of Waxahachie. We're off of 813 here, so no hail here yet. And, okay, yeah, report of dime-sized hail in Midlothian at present time. So dimes, quarters in Midlothian, really anywhere in between there. The way hail works, not every hailstone is going to be the largest size you hear about. Largely, sometimes you get a lot of smaller hail, and then you'll get the larger chunks here and there. So it's not always going to be the same. You might hear of grapefruit-sized hail somewhere. That doesn't mean every hailstone was grapefruit-sized. That's just kind of the way that works. So that's kind of what we're talking about here. So just keep in mind, this is going to continue to blow up. This is going to continue to build. and the hail threat is going to increase. I mean, like I said, we're already talking about confirmed quarter-sized hail. We could be looking at ping-pong-sized hail. According to the National Weather Service, that's kind of the max threat at this time. So right now, the family, they're probably rushing to get puppies inside. Jeez. Man, and it's hard to prepare for these things too, because man, they blow up so fast. Like I said, you can say the storm is moving at 30 miles per hour. The way it's expanding, it's going to get there before then. Okay, you're not talking about how it's, how is it displacing. It matters how quickly it's building, and it's building very, very fast. So Brittany Wright, looks like she's getting a lot of responses. Let me go back and see what that message was here. Just got done with golf ball size hail in Midlothian. So again, unless I see a picture of it, an actual measurement and that kind of thing, I'm not going to consider it confirmed necessarily. So that's just that. Let me get caught up here on a couple of things. Okay, Peyton, thank you so much for the donation in Venmo. Dawn, thank you so much for the Venmo donation as well. Those things really do make a difference, so I greatly appreciate your generosity. This thing continues to build eastward, so between Ferris and Palmer down towards Garrett here, I would say that's something to pay attention to as well. I mean, I'm talking, be prepared now, because that's going to be what we're watching for. Now, someone asked about rotation. I'm sure you're looking at kind of the shape of it, and I'm not really seeing rotation at this time. If anything, it's going to be back towards the Midlothian area, but I'm not seeing rotation right now. I'm not seeing anything that immediately catches my attention there, so I don't think rotation is going to be an issue. It doesn't look like we're really looking at too strong of winds at this point. Might be some strong winds, some gusty winds, I would say, not strong, over in the Midlothian area. So that's what I'm looking at right now. So not really much of a rotation issue. There's been some folks who think that we have a decent chance of seeing a tornado or two today. I'm skeptical of that just because of the setup. I don't think that tornadoes are really going to be a part of what we're looking at today. So not really thinking that's what's in the cards. But we will keep watching for that, because just about anything is possible. Let's see. Yeah, keeps Dr. Pepper instead of the generic brand. Please keep him in the good stuff. Yeah. All right. I mean, that's one motivation. There's also, paying the electric bill and keeping food on my table. That's important as well, because, I do this full time, and my sponsors are incredibly a great part of supporting this brand, and so are your donations, all that good stuff. All that comes together and allows me to do this full time and to give this the attention it demands, because if I were working full time somewhere, I could just be getting off work, supposedly, right? Theoretically, depending on where I was, and I could just be getting home. Just imagine having completely missed this entire storm and not able to give you the kind of warning that I need. Okay, so new severe thunderstorm warning issued. So that is this new warning that's been issued to catch the northern part of the storm moving into southern Dallas County. Well, actually, no. Okay, I'm sorry. So this is the existing warning. I think they're issuing another warning farther south. So Waxahachie, Garrett, maybe Ennis here. I think that's what we're going to be watching for. I was watching the chat. I wasn't paying attention to the polygon. So it already includes southern Dallas up into eastern Dallas, but we'll see one further down in Ellis County here pretty shortly. And that will probably cover these eastern areas. So still not seeing any hail at my location. Large raindrops, though. I mean, this thing is really pouring down the rain. And Scott, thank you so much for for the bad Dr. Pepper joke. Well, I appreciate that. I'm not sure I earned anything with that, but hey, that helps. And seriously, if I'm able to get hail. If hail is falling at the studio and I'm able to get some in here, we will use that for some Dr. Pepper. I'm not telling you should do that, but I'm on social media. It's what we do. I'm technically an influencer now, which is weird. I try not to think of myself that way because that can lead to a whole new, line of problems. So yeah, the reports of hail in the Midlothian area are mixed right now. Everything from pea-sized to quarter-sized to, I think quarter is really the largest we've had confirmed. There's been some talk of golf ball-sized hail in Midlothian there. I think there was one comment about that, and we haven't really seen much confirmation of that. Let me put this back into motion for you so you can see how this thing is moving. So really, east-southeast is kind of the direction it's going. Mostly east, a little bit of a southeast turn there, but it's also kind of building a little further south, which is why it is building towards the Garrett-Palmer area. But really the biggest hail threat is going to be from Midlothian on closer to Pecan Hill here towards 35. So, okay, here's that new warning. So yeah, that's a warning further south from just north of Griffin and Maypearl on through Waxahachie, Ennis, Bardwell, Garrett. So really most of Ellis County is included in this warning at this point. And I think that's fair. I think that's very fair because this is kind of the just the reality of the way this storm is building. It's getting big, and the hail threat will travel as it builds. So has the rain stopped here? A little odd. So I'm looks like maybe I'm in kind of this little space here. Little itty bitty space that's developed there. Now we'll also check the velocity again as quickly as this is building. So we're going to need to watch. I'm going to be watching back here in the Midlothian area because we are seeing some increasing winds there, and I want to make sure for one that we don't have a straight line wind issue popping up. But we also want to watch for rotation today. Because these storms are in the warm sector, okay? So that opens them up for inflow. So we will keep an eye on that. Again, tornadic stuff, not really a part of what I'm concerned about as much today, but it is kind of a part of that. So I saw earlier pea-sized hail by Long Branch in Midlothian. Let me see. Keith, you're saying it's rotating in the back hook. I don't see rotation there. Not sure what you're seeing, but I can't agree with that assessment. A couple of reports of pea-sized hail in Midlothian. Let me keep looking here. Dime-sized hail in Midlothian. Here comes another picture coming in. A good weather app. Man, weather apps, there's not one. There's not a reliable weather app. As far as I can tell, I've never been able to find one that was really that reliable. Okay, so hail size about an inch that Sharon just sent in from Midlothian. So about 1 inch hail is what I'm seeing there. And somebody asked the other day, why is it that we're seeing rings inside of hail? And that's because the rings inside of a hailstone are kind of like the rings inside of a tree. It shows you how many times it's been built upon. So the way hail is created, it's rain that's been carried up into the cloud by the downdraft, or the updraft, excuse me, carried by the updraft, and what it does is it starts to fall, it's carried up there again, and you kind of get a new layer of ice that's built upon that each time you go back up into the freezing part of the storm. Because it falls down and gets, rain on it, and then it goes back up and it freezes. So that shows you how many times it's been carried up into the updraft, and that's how you can see how large. Well, that's how you can see how strong the updraft is, because that's how you get bigger hailstones, because it keeps adding to the water that's being frozen on it. So that's why you have the rings inside of a hailstone. Getting more pictures here. Brian sending in a picture of what looks like that. Probably it's a shelf cloud there, and I know shelf clouds sometimes look scary, but hey, it's a shelf cloud. So I appreciate all the pictures. I appreciate the donations that are coming in as well. Let me kind of get caught up here. Quarter-size hail in Midlothian, just started raining in Palmer. Yeah, so lots of conversation here, and I do appreciate your field reports. That does help. Let me kind of get Okay, I'm not going to give a specific location off of 813 where my house is. Sorry, I'm not going to give you a specific location so you come over and watch me or something. That's just not going to happen. It's okay. Now I'm hearing that spotters have now confirmed rotation. So let's get back to the velocity here. Spotters are confirming rotation. And okay, so I'm not in the Discord. I've got it. I've got it, Matt. I'm going through it right now. Okay, so we do have spotter confirmed rotation 663 and Ashford. Now, that's in South Midlothian, so that's going to be right in here. So that looks like, that's the spot I was watching, and it looks like any rotation we have is going to be broad right now. I don't see a couplet yet, so it looks like any kind of rotation that we have is probably in the early stages of that. So I'm not seeing anything that's immediately concerning here, and I've got some multiple spotters that are talking about this. Okay, so and this is why ground truth is so important. We can only see so much on radar, and what I see right here is we do have winds that are coming in. It's hard to tell rotation here, at least anything specific. The way this is moving is definitely moving southeastward. And so we will continue to watch this. I'm being told it's broad rotation, not tightening or any funnel clouds seen from that, but there are eyes on that right now. So we will continue to watch this rotation here, but I want to keep talking about the hail threat as well, because at the moment, even though we do see rotation in the storm, the hail threat is going to be the primary issue. So the strongest hail does look to be between Midlothian and Waxahachie here, probably around Midway Regional Airport here. I think that's going to be where most of the hail threat is right now. And we've heard the largest report of hail that we've heard, it was golf ball size hail. The largest I've seen confirmed from what I've received has been and a big hail. I don't know what that means, but let's see here. Yeah, the pea-sized, mostly pea-sized hail. Quarter-sized hail reported by a few. Okay, ping-sized hail, ping-pong-sized hail reported east-southeast of Midlothian. So it sounds like our hail sizes are getting bigger. The updraft is strengthening, which means that we will need to watch this possible rotation here, or at least this confirmed broad rotation is what we can call it at this point. So, and I didn't have Matt in my ear. I wasn't paying attention. I wasn't thinking he was available, but he was. So I'm glad that he knocked me over the head just now and got me straight. So that's why he needs your thanks just like I do. So he's a big part of keeping me straight here. So we'll continue to watch what looks like rotation here. Again, it still looks broad to me. This rotation, at least on velocity, still looks broad. And Matt, I know it's in your area. So are you looking at that now, or are you just hearing chatter from the spotters? Okay, and somebody I know somebody that follows this page a lot, Brian Stevens, is keeping an eye on this. He's got eyes on it too, so I'm getting updates from him, and there's other spotters that are radioing in and that are keeping an eye on this too. So this will be headed, this circulation, or at least this broad weak rotation, will be heading towards Waxahachie. So that's why we will have to watch this very closely. So, you know, we've got pretty good sized rain coming down here at the studio, again off of 813, and I believe Okay, we have hail. We have hail here at the studio. Looks like pea-sized hail right now from what I can tell. So hail falling northeast of Waxahachie. I can confirm that right now. So I am right in here. So you're seeing these darker reds. I'm right in here. So that's where we are. Yeah, hail on 287. So the hail is moving into the Waxahachie area now. Pretty decent hail sizes from what I can tell. That's got to be at least nickel-sized hail that I'm seeing out there. It's spotty. It's kind of mixed within the range. So we haven't gotten the strongest part of the updraft yet. So that may be back towards back towards the Sardis area right now. But decent sized hail. Wow. Hold on a second. It's bounced. I can see it bouncing, and I'm seeing that's got to be at least. I might be calling Synergy Roofing for a roof tomorrow. That's got to be at least nickel-sized hail. That could be. I'm just looking out a window, but so we could be looking in northern Waxahachie right now. So that's going to be a new area for hail. Hearing. Okay, and I'm hearing there could be golf ball-sized hail back towards Midlothian. That's an unconfirmed report. I haven't seen pictures confirming that yet, but a decent bit of hail falling now at the studio. You can hear it. I can see it. So this is a decent hailstorm. We've got at least, this has to be at least quarter-sized hail here now, falling at the studio here. Hopefully we'll be getting some of that soon with my lovely wife, Terry, bringing some of that in so I can take a look at that. And that way we can get that to the National Weather Service too. But keep the comments coming in, keep your pictures coming in, that sort of thing. And wow, I am very impressed by this. The hailstones, and it's interesting. Somebody asked me the other day, can you get hail? And I am over by the Academy in Waxahachie. That's the same area. So yeah, quarter-sized hail sounds right. That's what I'm seeing too. Wow, that is really impressive. And now what I was getting to is that we're not getting the kind of hail where it's solid hailstones. It's just hail, no rain or anything mixed in. So this is mixed in with rain at this time. And I heard someone ask the other day, how is it that how is it that we can get precipitation that's just hail? But yeah, so let me get this. Let's see. Let me get this to the National Weather Service here. And getting a lot of messages, obviously, here, so I appreciate all of that. And Matt, are you monitoring that rotation? I'm trying to go back and forth here. We've got two things to really. Okay. Okay, so any kind of rotation, sounds like any kind of rotation might be rain wrapped. And that's kind of a good and bad thing. The good thing is that if it's wrapping up with rain this early, that's probably going to choke off any kind of circulation, cut off the inflow, and that'll be that. The bad news is obviously you can't see anything. So if something is building there, then you lose visual confirmation of it. But I will say that I do think that we're looking at.
Stupid hail.
Okay, could I get a cup, please? So we're looking at. All right, so this is solid quarter size hail here, and this might have solid quarter size for sure. And what you can actually see, I don't know if I can show the camera this or not, or get this to you. It's so slippery I can't hold it correctly. But if you can see that, may not be able to focus in on that, but there is a core there. So you have the core within the hail. That is where it started, pea-size, and then it built on top of that. Now it's really it looks like the larger hailstones are kind of rugged, and so promises are promises, right? Here's the hail, and we've got visual confirmation of that again. Let me see if I can get this one to show on the camera here. Yeah, so if I can't get it in the camera to where you can see it. I'll get a picture of it and we'll post this to where we can talk about that. But I want to make sure that we talk about the rings and the hail, because that's really been a point of interest for a lot of people. That's going to be that. And then yes, you bet your butt I'm gonna do this. We're gonna make this happen here. We're doing it. And it's clean. There's no, there's nothing on it. I checked it. There's no dirt or anything on the hail. So at this point, mostly we do have some hail still mixed in here. Mostly precipitation here now. Let's get back to the regular. And Dr. Pepper, if you're watching, here's Dr. Pepper with hail. Tastes like lift. Okay, so we're watching several things here. We're watching the hail threat, which does appear to be increasing east of Palmer here through northern Waxahachie, back towards the Sardis area, Midway Airport here, Midway Regional. And then we're watching this southwest corridor here where we are looking at the possibility of, okay, we've got larger hail here now. Solid hail. Here we go. Yeah, this is larger hail now. This has got to be at least $half size now. Shoo-wee. Well, oh, look, my truck. Yeah, we've got this is at least $half size hail here. So okay, this is going to be the area that we're looking at. That's that larger hail core I was talking about. So this is what I'm seeing right now in my location. We have this stronger hail core, and that is incredible hail. This is not obviously anything baseball sized here. It's, if I could pan the camera around and actually show this, I don't know that I could. I couldn't really get much of a visual on it if I wanted to. But man, that is impressive. All right, we're gonna get a second sampling here. Gonna taste like even more lift here pretty soon. So this is definitely a stronger hail core that we have moving through northern Waxahachie right now. Going to be moving towards Ike and Boyce, these smaller communities I want to make sure we're mentioning here. So yeah, and I'm smelling. I think that's food cooking. For a second there, I was really concerned, but yeah, we're looking at, and let me see if I can get a picture. The window, thanks to the weather cat, is really dirty, but let me get a picture of that real quickly. And I appreciate all your messages that are getting. She's not acting, guys. She's really telling me not to do this, and she's really helping. Okay. Now, something I want to mention is that the Van Zant County storm is getting a tornado warning. That's not here. That's Van Zant County, but that does confirm to me that rotation could be a factor in these storms. So we're going to look back at this velocity. Those are the two things that we're watching right now. The existing and growing hail threat that continues here, and then we're also going to be looking at the possibility of rotation south of Sardis, west of Waxahachie. This red you see here, that's where there were confirmations earlier of very broad rotation. Nothing tight, nothing tornadic, no funnel clouds or anything of that sort at this point, but definitely enough that we need to monitor it. So we will be watching that in addition to the hail core here. Let's go. I've been cautious about using this because it's been deceiving the last few days. And
I just want y'all to see. I'm soaked.
She just got her hair cut too, so
I did. It was really cute.
I'm probably in trouble now for ruining that. The hail sizes I'm seeing here are not much bigger. Our largest hailstone is still pretty rugged, and I would say, again, that's probably quarter size. But man, this is a whole different breed. I mean, it's more solid at this point. So that's what's really interesting there. So let me pull the little pieces of grass out of here, and we'll get this right in the Dr. Pepper, but you know, this is definitely more solid hail, and I'm going to be kind of looking into that. It's not bigger. It looked bigger though. These are more solid hailstones. I would say, if anything, it's a more efficient updraft, which again will lead to larger hail down the road. Plenty of pea-sized hail mixed in here. Plenty of really just rugged, almost just ice chips here. So it's a tumultuous updraft, that kind of thing. And I am taking a picture just to confirm for everybody that this is hail Dr. Pepper that we're looking at right here. And yeah, this is hail Dr. I mean, you can't see it, but it's hail Dr. Pepper. So that's a thing we're doing now. I should have put a dollar challenge on that. Why didn't I do that sooner? I mean, I wouldn't have time. It's already melting, but that's you know, it's something you do. But yeah, so I'm gonna take a picture of this, and we'll talk about that. Also, for all the folks who just thought about their roofs and got a little intimidated by the hail here on their roofs, Synergy Roofing will do a free inspection. They will climb up on your roof and look at it, so you don't have to. So you know, that's the thing. Now we haven't had reports in Waxahachie of the hail sizes we had yesterday, the day before. I mean, we're not talking about, you know, baseball-sized hail here. So that's the good news. But we are still looking at the decent hail threat here moving towards Ike. That'll continue to move really probably between Palmer and Garrett here. I don't think it's moving due east. I think it's moving a little more east-southeast here. But if you are in the Palmer area, you see this line here. Don't be deceived. Both of these are for thunderstorm warning. So basically all of what you see here, that's the edge of it over by Jimmy's logo there. But I mean, you know, we've got plenty of hail still to go in this storm. Overdrafts run amok here. And okay, yeah, so yep, looking at another picture of quarter-sized hail over in the Indian Hills area in Waxahachie. So that's just more confirmation of what we're seeing at this point. So we'll continue to follow this storm, and if we zoom out, I think this is, yeah, so far this is the only storm that we have in our area. And that's, like I said, it's right along that stationary front. Yes, Van Zandt County does have a tornado warning right now. That's not here. Not here. No tornado warning here. But we are looking at, you know, we are definitely looking at the hail threat moving eastward. We've been talking about maybe some weak broad rotation in this storm. Looks like it's clearing out now in my location. I'm not sure how that's possible because I'm right in here probably. Right, okay. I'm trying to see what's going on because I'm pretty sure I just saw a flash, but I didn't hear thunder right after it. So things appear to be thinning out where I am, but you know, it's there you go. I just got a message. You know, hail Dr. Pepper. Why the hail not? There you go. We'll see now. Okay, now if this continues the next couple of days, I'm gonna have to find different drinks to use. Right? That's just gonna be a thing. So there's nothing else going on in our area right now. So Corsicana, Hillsborough, Cleburne, these three other counties, there's really nothing happening there, and I don't expect this to move into those other counties. This will be Kaufman and Henderson counties' problem later on when it does move through. So, but in Waxahachie right now, between Waxahachie and Palmer is where we're seeing that hail core that's stronger right now. There could be more hail west of Waxahachie. You're seeing kind of this darker red. So that's what we have right now. There was talk about rotation earlier. The word was that is possibly rain wrapped at this point. And you know, that again, that can be a positive or a negative. It can be a positive insofar as it will choke off the inflow, which means it will kind of cut off that rotation, or it can be a negative insofar as not being able to see what's developing. So we'll kind of keep keep that in mind there, and Okay, just more reports of hail here. Pretty much all the same size though. Now I will say I'm seeing quite a bit of flash here, and the sky's already bright, which means lightning is pretty close. Let me just say, real fast. If we lose this stream, stay on the YouTube channel, stay on the Facebook page, stay on the Twitter channel. Be patient. We will find a way to get that back up. But the last time it went out, it was just a quick 5-minute thing that ended up being a 15-minute reboot for the whole thing. So just keep that in mind. And I know we've got somebody really aching to hear about Corsicana here, so we'll get there. But yeah, lightning strikes increasing in this storm for sure. So that's going to be on top of the bigger issues that we're having here. So the rotation looks like that's no longer a factor. Let's double check that. Yeah, if there was going to be any rotation, it would be right on top of Waxahachie right now. I'm not hearing any confirmation of that. In fact, I can't really see anything outside of my window here, but not seeing anything that has me immediately concerned. I mean, we do kind of have this pulling in there. Could be some inflow. Matt, I don't know if you're hearing anything, but there could be a little bit of inflow this direction, but just not seeing anything that has me immediately worried. We will watch this though, because again, I feel like I could be looking at some inflow trying to come in there. So the rotation could be trying to be increasing with this storm. But at the same time, that's kind of going into the storm too. So yeah, any kind of rotation we have here looks to be rain wraps, and I think that's going to kind of help to limit things. Getting a report of golf ball sized hail in downtown Waxahachie right now. And so golf ball size hail, so it sounds like we could be looking at an increased updraft here, which again is something to be paying attention to. The backyard is a lake. Oh, that's fun. I'm sure the dogs are going to love that. Okay, 1 inch hail estimated at SAGU in Waxahachie. A lot of people asking when this is going to be done. We're going to need to give this storm a little bit of space here. I would say this is going to be affecting Waxahachie at least for the next half hour. It's not displacing quickly. As quickly as it's building eastward, it's not displacing that fast. So, I do think it's going to be around for a little bit at least. Matt, are you hearing anything from the spotters? Okay, let me go back up to that message. I think I missed that. There's a lot of messages coming through. Got it. Okay. Yeah. So so he's at the parking garage reporting golf ball size hail. There's a spotter there. So the parking garage is a good place to be right now. So, oh, my backyard is a swamp. That's cool. That's real fun. Great when there's going to be puppies and dogs getting that dirt all over the place for the next couple days. Some of this hail is still here. That's interesting. All right. So, this storm is going to be in the Waxahachie area probably, like I said, at least for another half hour, I would say. Even once it leaves, and I'm getting sunshine. I'm getting sunshine and hail right now. That's awesome. Just to show you how prolific this storm is. I mean, I don't know how I'm getting... Is the radar behind? This is what's interesting right now. My location, either the radar is really behind here. I'm getting sunshine. Okay. So 5:37 is the last update we've had, and I mean that makes sense because again we're usually going to be about 5 minutes apart. There's an update there, but still, I mean it's interesting to me because I'm right. Well, I guess I'm just barely on the backside of this storm, just barely on the backside. So, but I'm still getting hail. I'm still getting there's very spotty. Pea-sized hailstones looks like. Yeah, so I'm getting hail even on the very, very back side of this storm. So I'm right in here between Waxahachie and Rocket, and yeah, that's really interesting. still getting hailstones. So if you're in the heat of this, and again, if you're in the Ike area between Ike and Palmer, and I would say in the Boyce area too, so really from Ike to Palmer down to Garrett and Boyce, really this area here, you're probably getting the largest hail at this time. And if I'm getting pea-sized hail on the very back side of the storm, I would say definitely be paying attention to the hail sizes here. And it's hard to keep track of all your messages and all your comments and those kind of things because there's so many coming in, and I do appreciate that. I also appreciate the donations that have come in. I'm not sure if let me check and see if I've missed any of those. Yeah, getting hail on the very back end, and I'm seeing sunshine and hail at the same time. That's not common at all. So that's just nuts. So this storm, we did have some confirmed weak rotation at one time. We'll take another look at that now that we've had an update. We're going to keep an eye on this because I don't like how we're now seeing the green and the red. There's persistent, what looks like persistent inflow on this, and that looks to be getting a little deeper here. So I'm going to send out a question here. Okay, well, there goes my phone a friend. I'm trying to keep track of emails and things here too, so I can stay on top of those confirmations. Thank you to Marnie and Donnie for your donations. Thank you so much. That does greatly help. But what I'm looking at right now is what looks like inflow, and that could be mixing in with the cooler outflow of the storm. Again, this is where we were watching the possibility of some rotation, possibly a wall cloud trying to develop earlier. It didn't look like really that much, but this is in the right spot. So you can see that the inflow looks to be kind of cutting into the storm here. So we could see a hook trying to develop here just in the next few minutes. So we will have to keep an eye on this. This is east of Waxahachie, and I think my wife just put something in, not going back outside. Well, the hail's over, so it's not, we don't have to worry about that right now. Getting heavier right now at my location. So this storm is hanging on. I mean, it's trying to leave, but if we put this into motion again, it's growing more than it's displacing now. So it's moving at a decent clip. I would say, again, that 30 miles per hour, we could be getting closer to 40 now that the storm has kind of gotten its act together. But I am concerned about an increasing threat of rotation. You're asking where to send photos of the hail. Go to the Facebook page, send a message there, or you can send them to kevin@southmetroweather.com. That might be the best place. I think on the YouTube, I'm not sure if I have a contact button on the YouTube channel itself. Let me double check that and just see. I'm getting louder thunder now, so keep in mind on the back side of the storm. Definitely understand and remember that lightning can strike 30 miles outside of a storm. Okay. And so the backside of it, a lot of times, as soon as everything stops raining, people run outside and check things out. You can still get plenty of lightning there. So for Waxahachie, the storm is moving out now, but we are seeing this increasing inflow, this rotation that has me more concerned. I just said we might start seeing a hook. So we're starting to see that now. Thunder's getting louder. All these indications that this storm is appearing to pick up in its intensity. That's going to be loud. That could have been close. Yeah, there's a good thunderclap there. So yeah, if you want to send a message in, again, use those spots. We need to keep a track on this. We need to keep paying attention to this possible rotation here. Again, plenty of hail in this storm, okay? That's the existing threat out of this storm. That's why we have the severe thunderstorm warning in place. But we are looking at the possibility of increased rotation in this storm because we do have that hook trying to form. Yeah, okay. So, I mean, I'm fairly concerned about the increased rotation we see with this storm. That's going to be heading towards the Ennis area. So if you're in the Ennis area right now, I would say be prepared to take shelter in the next several minutes because we're still seeing, you see the green and the red. That is classic circulation there. That's as clear as it's going to be as far as your broad rotation. But you notice these winds are increasing. Okay, so the wind speeds with this rotation are increasing. That will help them tighten up, and then from there we could be looking at more of a rotation situation there. I will say. I'm going to go ahead and close this so that the lighting isn't as bad and it's not distracting. But we will continue to pay close attention to this. This is leaving Waxahachie now. Here's 287 moving towards Garrett and Ennis at this time. So if you're in Garrett and Ennis and really between Ennis and Waxahachie, you want to be paying a close attention to this. You want to be ready to take shelter because this rotation appears to be pretty quickly taking shape and pretty quickly intensifying. So I'm not. I don't guess we're hearing anything as far as spotters. Okay. Let me see. Let me actually check with someone. And I've got a spotter that I know, and I'm going to ask here to see if we've got someone on that, because I really want eyes on this. I want eyes on this for sure. So I'm going to keep checking what I'm getting in. Most of this is going to be hail. I don't know if anyone has photographs of what's going on here. Looks like National Weather Service reporting tennis ball-sized hail, South Waxahachie. So does sound like our storm is ramping up here. Okay, our storm is definitely ramping up here. Hail in Palmer, hail in Ennis. So the hail is moving through, but okay, getting more just more hail reports here. But this rotation is what I'm most concerned about. So yeah, the yogurt cup size hail was weird, but that's what we're watching at this time. This is possible rotation moving towards the Ennis area right now. So that's the biggest concern I have. And the hail is growing as well. So where you have hail falling, be prepared. You could be looking at larger hail. If you do have hail falling in your area, I mean, this is classic supercell thunderstorms scenario right now. This is classic supercell shape. And we even have a little tag along here back west of Waxahachie. So it doesn't look like it's as strong, but looks like there's a little bit of a tag along kind of popping up there. One popping up in South Dallas as well. And so, but we need to keep an eye on this supercell here moving into the Ennis area, the hail threat moving in there. If you are getting hail, get away from windows if you can. Because if you can get away from the windows, that's going to put you in a better position, because if you think about the situation where you've got tennis ball sized hail, you think about throwing a tennis ball made of ice at your window with possible winds behind it to give it some more oomph. I mean, that can take care of a window if it's not the strongest window in the world. So stay away from windows if you're getting that hail, just to keep yourself safe. And then we will continue to watch this possible rotation. I think there's a message that's possibly coming in at some point about looking at that possible rotation. I'm waiting for that to come through. Let's see. I know sometimes these messages in rural areas, the pictures will take a while to send, so I'm going to stay on that for a moment. Not hearing any kind of confirmation of the rotation, no ground truth, which is not what I prefer. But I mean, we're going to keep an eye on this. This is the velocity view. Okay, if you're not familiar with this, this is the velocity view where we're looking at wind speeds. And what I'm seeing is we have these red winds and the green, which is different directions. So one direction moving up this way, one direction moving in this way. And that's enough to give you rotation, especially when they're starting to wrap around a little bit. So that's what we're watching for. That will be moving towards the Ennis area. It's kind of moving right down 287 right now. So we're going to keep an eye on this. And if we go back to the reflectivity here, here's that hook trying to form to correspond with that. So classic supercell here. you have the hook, and then it kind of expands here. Here's your downdraft. Here's your hail threat, where all that heavy rain and hail is coming down. And then your updraft, your rain-free base building right here, where you have the rain-free base getting surrounded by that rain as the rotation pulls it around. That's how you get your hook. So we'll keep an eye on this. I should have a picture coming here, hopefully, a picture or a video coming in soon. I'm just waiting for that, I guess, to load here. Hopefully we'll get that soon. But we just need to keep an eye on that as this moves towards Ennis. This may actually move south of Ennis, but we'll keep watching. This storm is going to be moving. It's held together long enough. It will be moving into northern Navarro County here. So from M House over to, that's Roan there, Rice, Valley Farms, possibly over to Powell and Kearns later on. This storm continues to move off to the southeast. So we will keep a close eye on this as we're watching. Okay, so I've finally got a picture here, and yeah, so it looks like there's a rugged lowering. Now, I don't know how long ago this was, but looks like it could have been a few minutes ago. But looks like there's a rugged lowering, but that, again, that can very quickly take shape. So no tornadoes reported with this, no funnel clouds reported with this. Looks like there's a rugged lowering that could be becoming a wall cloud very quickly. A lot of times what you're going to see is what's called scud clouds. And that's where it looks like clouds are literally coming from the ground, because they kind of are. I mean, it's the moisture in the air that's being pulled up into the storm with that updraft. I mean, look at this. You've got this split here. Classic supercell. This hook deepening here. You can see where we're starting to get the winds that are pushing. You see this little bow shape here. That's pushing this way. So that's the rotation continues to deepen. Let's take a look at the velocity and show what the winds are showing us. And yeah, so we continue to watch this rotation trying to tighten here. So we will be watching that very quickly. This is right around Rager Springs. This is west of Ennis, down towards Bardwell as well. So this is the area where we will be watching this. Somebody, a really long comment there, putting up an email address. I'm not sure what that says. Can I show a predicted path? Well, we're getting there, so we'll talk about that for a moment, in just a moment. Looking like the former logo. That's a good point. It really does. Okay, let me kind of get recalibrated here, because I really do want to focus on the possible rotation here. That is, let me just watch. Let me check this. Okay, so that's talking about the Van Zandt storm. So we're going to keep an eye on this. We're going to keep watching just west of Venice, this possible rotation. And the rotating part of the storm looks to be headed towards the Bardwell area, moving further down, possibly towards Bird and Rice. So I think that's where we're going to see this rotation moving here. And that's got to be moving. It's hard to get a speed here because the warning was issued a while ago, and I think the speed has changed since then. If I had to guess, I mean, we're talking about this storm probably still moving about 30 miles per hour. So let me see if I can put a track on this. We may have to change modes here, cellular mode. And, okay, so we're, maybe getting a question about the rotation in Ellis County. Let me see if I can get this to pull up a possible track here. And we're talking 30 miles per hour. So looks like we'll be looking at around 6:04, so about 6-7 minutes to Bardwell here in the next 6-7 minutes. Ensign about 6:12, Onion Creek about 6:14, Rice about 6:27. So that's kind of what we're okay. So watching. Okay, and I'm hearing. Mike Prendergast is reporting ominous non-rotating wall cloud west of Venice. West side of Ennis, no visible rotation. So looks like the rotation may not have quite reached the lowering yet. So that's what I'm hearing as far as that is concerned. The hook on this storm, though, really impressive. Now, here's something to remember. The farther away we're looking from the radar location is we're looking higher up in the storm. So it's possible we're looking at higher rotation, more elevated rotation. Does not sound like it's quite reached the ground yet. So, that's part of what we're going to be watching, and I'm going to be getting pictures here. And pictures are tough because I can't see rotation through pictures. Okay, so but I'm definitely seeing a lowering. I'm definitely seeing what looks like, again, like Mike said, looks like we could be looking at kind of a rugged lowering, no visible rotation according to some spotters and chasers, but okay, lowering of scud, and that's kind of what I'm hearing. So definitely an updraft, but hearing that there's not any rotation in it. So it sounds like rotation may still be elevated at this time. Quarter-size hail reported on I-45 in the Ennis area. So that's what they're seeing there. And I appreciate your messages and your reports. And, okay, so, yeah, continuing to get reports and photos and things, and I appreciate that. Lots of hail reports. Obviously, the hail continues. But we definitely need to be paying attention to the... okay, so that's the Vans, because I'm watching the chat here, and tornado conversation continues only for the Van Zant storm. So they're not talking about that here, but we still need to be paying very close attention to this storm in Ellis County here. Get this off of here. The hail threat definitely still in the Ennis area here. So between Garrett and Ennis, north side of Ennis is probably looking at the biggest hail threat. But if we look at this, you can see the hook that is deepening and now persisting in Ellis County. So that is going to be, again, that's west of Ennis. Okay, so there's discussion about the heat index or the heat advisory. We'll talk about that too. But just west of Venice, in the Bardwell area, is where we're seeing this rotation right now. And it's tough because at the moment, we're hearing that it's basically, and I've seen pictures, basically looking at a rugged lowering of probably, like one commenter said, scud clouds. So probably not seeing anything that is tornadic at this time. Hopefully, what we're looking at is upper level rotation that hasn't quite reached that part of the storm yet. But there are eyes on that now, so I'm appreciating that. And let me see if maybe I can get a message over. See if I can get. Okay, so I'm gonna try to open a line of communication directly with a storm chaser that's out there. Try to get some confirmation. Okay, yeah. So National Weather Service saying that the Ellis County storm doesn't have a well-organized radar velocity presentation, and that's true. And again, we could be looking at the upper levels of the storm. Definitely a lowering there. Definitely a lowering there. Matt, let me send this to you too, so you can kind of see what we're dealing with here. But hearing that there's no rotation with it, so an interesting feature for sure. An interesting feature for sure at the moment. But okay, now I'm getting a video message here. Okay, well, there's looking at the wall cloud through a bunch of trees. There's not a whole lot really I can do with that, but I appreciate that regardless. So definitely a lowering. I mean, this has all the trappings and all the looks of a wall cloud, but I'm hearing that there's just no rotation in it at this time. But my concern is that it won't take much, okay? If this rotation that appears to be focused kind of higher up in the storm, this very broad rotation, that tightens up and moves downward, that could very easily and very quickly turn into more rotation. So we'll put this into motion, and again, it's pretty persistent. So from Waxahachie on, it's not deep rotation, it's not tight rotation, but it's enough for me at this point that we need to be we need to be watching this closely. Now, this new severe thunderstorm warning, well, the old severe thunderstorm warning has been cut back now to release Waxahachie and Ferris there. But Garrett, Ennis still looking at a decent hail threat here. Still looking at very signature supercell here. Still watching the possible rotation near Bardwell. This will be moving into northern Navarro County. I think most of this, at least at this rate, looks to stay north of Corsicana. But we will continue to watch this as it's moving to the southeast. The track on this rotation, I expect that it's moving through the Bardwell area now. I expect that to be moving close to the Rice area and then continuing on possibly towards Powell and Curran. So I expect that to kind of move this way. And yeah, go ahead, Matt. Okay, so more confirmation. Thank you, Matt, for that info. More confirmation that we're seeing a definite lowering there in Bardwell, at least near there, but no rotation with it. So again, one of those things where it's struggling to get organized, and I wasn't really thinking that tornadoes were part of the process today anyway. But realistically, I mean, we're not looking at. We're not looking at a atmosphere that is that conducive to rotation, which is probably why this is having as much trouble as it is getting organized. And that broad rotation that it looks like we're seeing in the Bardwell area, at least a lot higher up in the clouds, doesn't appear to be making it to the surface. So looks like that could be kind of our saving grace here. All right, I'm looking at the lowering here, a video that just came in. And Matt, if you want to look at this, that's Hannah's message from a couple of minutes ago. But yeah, I mean, I'm looking at it and I'm not seeing rotation. It is there. It's there. It's persistent. There's motion. But it doesn't look like rotation. If anything, if there is rotation, it's very slow. But yeah, if there's any rotation at all in it, it's very slow and almost impossible to see. And Amanda, you're saying tornadoes don't make around here. Well, there are some buildings in Ennis that might argue differently that were actually destroyed by a tornado a few years ago. So you can't just assume that tornadoes are not going to happen because this shape, I mean, this supercell, it's got all you need, right, at this point. I mean, we'll continue to follow this as it moves through Navarro County here. And clearing out of Waxahachie. Waxahachie's getting some rain right now from kind of the straggler, but it has cleared the Waxahachie area. This has moved into Ennis, on into Rice and Alma here. So this is really the only storm, I think, that we have in our area. Up towards the Ferris area, there is this thunderstorm. Not a severe storm at this time. Looks like there's some convection from Waxahachie back towards Venus. Again, not severe, just some rain with that. Nothing going on in the two lower counties yet. This storm will be moving southeastward towards northern Navarro County here in the next several minutes. So we're going to continue to keep track of this storm. Hearing a report of golf ball size in the Creechville area. So that's going to be east of Ennis. So I appreciate the report there. That's not anything I've got confirmed right now. I don't have, pictures of that measuring it or anything. Okay, looking back. All right, so I've just got a picture from. Okay, and that's going to be Ennis. That's over by the high school. And yeah, there's definitely a lowering, but it's just not, no signs of rotation looks like in that. Usually you can't tell by a still image, but I can kind of see that the shape is not quite there for circulation. So we still have a bit of a hook shape, but it looks like it might be, again, kind of losing what organization it did have. We'll put this into motion. Again, you can see this moving southeastward. And I would say the hail threat is deepening here. We see these deeper colors. So it looks like Channel 11 is live in Ennis right now. They have somebody out there in this? Must be the new guy or something, man. Okay, where is it safe to go if you're on the first floor of an apartment? I would say if you're on the first floor, that's the best floor to be on. Just go to, I would say, the interior, usually in an apartment, right? It's going to be 4 units in a building, right? 4 units altogether. Get to the most interior kind of enclosed area you can. So whether that's I would say a closet or a pantry or something, try to get where the 4 units meet, or 2 or whatever. Try to get closer to that point, away from windows, and be there. That's going to be your best spot. The first floor is not a bad place to be. Because the higher up you get, the more conducive you are, possibly the more susceptible you are to debris, those kind of things too. But just keep that in mind. Trying to keep up with some of the conversation here. Mark, you're asking, where is this live from? This is North Central Texas, where we are live from right now. So that's where we're showing from this moment. And let me get over to. Okay, so we've got a couple of messages here. Looks like this is back in the Waxahachie area, back in Midlothian as well. Okay, so reports of rotation again in the Van storm. So no reports of rotation in this storm yet. It is holding on to this hook. So okay, getting more reports here. Getting a couple of questions if it's still rotating. We're not seeing rotation at this time, at least not that we can see from the surface. Let's get back to velocity and kind of take another look at this storm. And to me, I feel like I'm still seeing some broad upper level rotation. Broad rotation aloft. So not anything we can see from the ground, and it's struggling to get any more organized than this. A few minutes ago, you definitely had intrusive inflow here, but at this point, it's not as intense, not as organized as it was. So it seems like every few minutes it tries to kind of organize again, but it's just really having trouble. The main threat right now is going to be the hail. We've been getting different reports of hail sizes. Yeah, so here's. So 5 to 8 minutes ago, there was a report of hail almost 2 inches. So 1 3/4 inches hail measured in west of Ennis. So that's going to be the storm, and the hail sizes are probably going up right now. This seems to be on an upward cycle. So I would say 2-inch hail is possible with this thing. So we could be talking about ping pong to golf ball at least size hail with this storm as it continues to move eastward. Now it's moving away from the population center, going to be moving into more kind of open country here. So, we'll be moving away from population centers. But if you're between Ennis and Valley Farm and Rice right now, this area, you need to be prepared for large hail, and this is going to be a continued concern. You do need to get away from windows at this time, so it's really right along I-45 right now. I-45 and eastward. So that's really the concern here. A new severe thunderstorm warning coming out for this storm soon. That'll probably cover northern Navarro County. But between Ennis and Rice, right on 45, this is where you have that larger hail at this moment. Thank you to Cassandra for the Venmo donation. I greatly appreciate that. So this will continue to move on to the southeast. The hook looks to be kind of losing some of that organization here. We'll keep an eye on that too. So various reports of various hail sizes from back in Waxahachie and Midlothian, and the Ennis area will probably start getting that soon once people are able to safely get outside. Here's that new severe thunderstorm warning, so let's check that out. This does include Corsicana now, so this storm is going to continue to move on to the southeast. This warning goes until 7:30, so this is right in the Corsicana area that is included, and it's clocking this at 25 miles per hour, so it's slowed down some, but it's going to continue to move on into northern, then eastern Navarro County. This storm has a history of some weak upper-level rotation. There's a lowering on this storm, but it's just not quite able to keep rotating. Just got a picture of Alma on the west side of 45, looking back at this lowering. So again, another video of the lowering in that storm, but it's not rotating. The lowering is still there, but not any kind of rotation in that. So, okay. Matt, I'll get to that 1 second. I need to say first, David had, for all intents and purposes, a tornado come through your yard Saturday at 5 p.m. I don't know what you're referring to there, but we don't have any confirmed tornadoes in the Rice area. Matt, go ahead. Okay, I'm looking at a video now, and there's motion. It does look like there's some weak rotation there. Yeah, Matt, I see what you're seeing too. Let me see if I can. Man, I wish I could save this somehow. It's not. I don't think it's going to allow me to. Matt, are you able to save that and send it to me possibly? Because it's not allowing me to download that or anything. Okay, because I want to get that over to the storm chaser that I've had contact with. Now that could have been a bit of time ago that we were actually looking at what could arguably have been some rotation in that storm. Let me get back to that message. That was sent about 6:08, so that was about 7 minutes ago. And messages are coming in so fast, it's hard to really catch them. So that's why Matt tries to catch that. Yeah, another picture of that. Another picture of some minor rotation in that storm. So south of Ennis, that's the storm we're watching right now, and some history of some possible rotation, not anything intense, but some history of possible rotation. Really the biggest threat with this storm right now is going to be let me check this coming in too. Okay, so let me grab that. All right, let's see if that will save here, and then I need to get this over to a storm spotter that I've been talking to. Okay. All right, let me get that to him and get his judgment on that. Trying to communicate with the eyes we have on the ground here. Thank you, Cassandra, for the donation through Venmo. I greatly appreciate that. And so here's the thing. David Hatley sent a message that he had something about having a tornado come through. We don't have any kind of confirmation of a tornado. David, if you want to talk later about that and try to get that clarified, we can. But I want to make sure you understand there's no tornadoes right now. No tornadoes. Let me communicate this. Communicate with a storm chaser there. I'm sorry to ignore. I'm trying to communicate with a storm chaser. Okay. So I want to make sure this line of communication stays open. But no tornado, no confirmation of a tornado at this point. Okay, so big wall cloud in Ennis, so that's probably what we're seeing, I would imagine, west of Rice at this point. But in the Rice area, that's where we're going to be seeing the larger hail come in. And let me put this back into motion. I keep pausing that so we can check things. But here's where that storm is moving right now. Estimated golf ball sized hail south of Alma. Okay. Hail is splintering on impact and unable to solidly confirm size. Yeah, so the hail is kind of rugged here. So that's making it hard to estimate size in some cases, because by the time it hits the ground, it kind of starts to break apart. We need to talk about a couple of other storms that are popping up here. Back in the Waxahachie area, we have a cell that doesn't look to be severe at this point, but is intensifying, so we will have to watch that. An intensifying cell just in the Ferris area, so from Ferris to Wilmer there, that will continue on to slide, looks like to the east there. Looks like that's coming from outflow, probably from this storm. So from, again, Waxahachie, looking at some heavier rain right now, not severe at this time. Up in Ferris, what could be a quickly strengthening storm. And then if we zoom out to the whole area, really not seeing anything else right now. So southeastern Ellis County, northern Navarro County right now is the storm we've been following. Not anything in our western counties here, Johnson or Hill. So, calm there, dry there for now. We will keep an eye on that. Let's check our velocity here, and still looking at possible signs of broad rotation right now, broad weak rotation. Again, not looking at anything, no confirmation of anything on the ground or close to the ground at this point, but we'll keep watching that. And let me just keep checking messages here to see what pictures we're getting. Okay, yeah, so another video of... Yeah, so Matt, you saw the video from that latest one. It's just, yeah, and essentially it doesn't look like, and I'm about to get to this, it doesn't look like, from the videos I'm seeing, it doesn't look like we're seeing the kind of broad organized rotation that you would need in the wall cloud. It looks like there's rotation almost within it, so it just... all indications are, to me, that rotation is trying to organize in this storm. But we're just not seeing the kind of tight, organized rotation that it takes to produce a tornado. A tornado takes a lot of work in a storm. So there are going to be many times where you'll get a wall cloud that you'll never get a tornado out of it. So that's just kind of that situation. Now we have tennis ball sized hail confirmed in Alma right now. Let me just get this here. A mile west of I-40. Okay, so I'm getting this to the National Weather Service here. All right, so... making sure that that's reported to them. And I do appreciate all of what you're sending. And Matt and I both are kind of trying to keep track of this. Yeah, southbound 45 to 287, big hail, according to Mike Prendergast. So yeah, he's got eyes on this. He's getting some information. And really at this point, we need to be paying close attention. Eric Myers over in Navarro County, non-rotating wall cloud, 1 mile northwest of Rice. So that's what we're getting. Now, again, the rotation that we have seen video and pictures of that we've received is very small rotation within the wall cloud, what looks like. Now, a very disorganized wall cloud at that. So it sounds to me like we're not able to get the kind of solid rotation that it needs to create that column of air that is a tornado. But, it's not really, it's just not enough. Not enough to really cause those problems, but it does bear watching because, again, this is one of those things that could get out of control very fast. So we will continue to monitor that. Will the trailing storm be able to strengthen due to the first one using up the atmosphere? So here's the thing. And I know what you're getting at. You're saying that the air is stabilized back in Waxahachie. That is possible, but the reason this one's even here is because of that outflow. That can be true, that the air has been worked over enough in Waxahachie that you don't have the kind of instability to create that storm. The trouble is when you have that outflow boundary, that creates its own lift. That provides, now, however brief it could be. So you're probably right, Destiny, that we wouldn't see the kind of severe weather in Waxahachie for two reasons. One, yes, this has kind of helped to stabilize the air a little bit, but this storm is going to be pulling all the energy in the area up. So really it's going to be pulling in any leftover instability and pretty much feeding on that. So the Waxahachie storm just won't have as much to work with, but still could produce lightning, those kind of things, so keep an eye on that. And really any storm that pops up at this point could produce hail. I'm still getting sunshine here, so looks like this storm hasn't affected my area. And the one in Ferris looks to be struggling to intensify as well. So we're pretty much limited to this Rice storm. Now we need to be paying attention to what's going on in Rice right now. So it looks like this hook could be trying to kind of tighten up again. So let's take a look back at velocity, and yeah, so I mean, we're still not looking at anything. Okay, we're getting a report now of 2.5-inch hailstones on the ground in Alma between Ennis and Rice. So 2.5-inch hail at this point possible there, or really confirmed at this point. So I'm still concerned about this because if you notice, again, kind of seeing what looks like it could be trying to rotate in, pulling in some of that inflow. So we'll have to watch this and keep an eye on this as this approaches Rice. So anyone in the Rice area, if you're looking at that possible wall cloud there, you know, oh wow. Matt, are you seeing this? Are you looking at that last image, that last video? Yep. Okay, so I want to pull something up here. I want to bring your attention to something here. See if I can get this pulled up. And this is going to be a video that we received a short time ago from a viewer here. And let me see if I can get this pulled up. We're watching rotation, very possible rotation in this storm. And I'm concerned about this. Let me get this pulled up. I'm concerned about this because what I'm seeing first, all right, this is going to be from the Rice area. And let me get this pulled up on screen for you here. Just give me a moment here. Okay. Let me get this pulled up. Now this is looking in the Rice area, and what we're seeing, this is your wall cloud. That is very low, okay? And what you can see here is it doesn't look like, and right next to it as well, it doesn't look like that's rotating. So I don't think that's a funnel cloud there that we're seeing, but again, this wall cloud is getting a lot more organized than the pictures we've seen so far. So this is what we're seeing, and thank you to Jennifer for sending this in. But you can see the hail on the ground. If I can get the mouse to cooperate here. You can see the hail on the ground, so obviously, you know, they're in that storm. But this is, I don't see signs of rotation, at least not intense rotation. But you look at this. You see the scud that's getting pulled in. That's that inflow getting pulled into that circulation. That could very quickly become a rotating wall cloud there. So thank you so much, Jennifer, for sending that. Okay, so we're gonna watch. We're possibly getting something else here too. Some more possible video of that. We're gonna check into that just real quickly, and yeah, it looks. Julianne Slinkman, if you're watching, please give your location so that we can get that from you and get a better understanding of what we're watching here, because this could be another. This could very well be another look at some possible rotation in this storm west of Rice, moving towards the Rice area. This is what I'm concerned about here, and we could be looking at, again, this could be tightening up. So if we can get, Julianne, if we can get your location, that would be greatly helpful so that we can better understand where you're watching this from. All right, so we're just gonna continue to keep an eye on this. Let me kind of shift gears here a little bit. No conversation about rotation there. Um, Looking back in the comments here, I'm not really seeing a whole lot there, but I definitely take a look at what the there's a new mesoskill discussion coming out. Not sure what that's focused on at the moment. Okay, we're not getting a confirmation of a location on that video. We'll try to get that shortly. Aren't wall clouds by definition a rotating cloud? Not necessarily. The wall cloud that you're seeing is the lowering. That's what defines a wall cloud. Now, if it's rotating, then obviously you have rotation closer to the surface, and it could be moving further down, which is what creates your tornado. But at the moment, we don't have rotation in that wall cloud. Let's get back to our usual kind of view here. And it does look like the hook itself is having a hard time kind of staying steady. So it's very possible that, that could be part of the problem. It's not able to really maintain really organized circulation. Okay, getting a message. Let me see here. Okay, and got a viewer over in Glenrose trying to see if there's anything headed that way, and I don't believe that there is at this point. That's going to take forever to load. Okay, never mind. We'll have to broaden the view here. Thank you so much, Cassandra and David, for your Venmo donations. That is greatly appreciated. Thank you. We broadened this out. Same situation. The only storm we're watching is in northern Navarro County right now, far southeastern Ellis County. A little bit of a cell back towards Waxahachie and one just north of Ferris. Not severe at this time, but we will have to continue to watch as you see the stationary front here. That's going to be your focal point for more development. So we could very well see more development further to the west, but south and east of Dallas was really the kind of the focal point that we were watching today, and that has held true so far. I'm getting another message here, so let's check that. Okay, so no pictures have come in yet. More hail reports here, so thank you for that. But we're going to continue to keep an eye on the possible rotation in this storm. Let's get back to our velocity so we can watch that. Okay. I'm watching another video here, and it's a little hard to see what's going on. There's a lot of motion. The phone's moving a lot in the video, so it's hard to kind of see. There's a lot of motion in that lowering, but it's kind of hard to see if there's any kind of rotation possibly going on there. Okay. So any wall cloud we have is going to be in the Rice area right now. So if you're in Rice, that's what we're watching, this little bit of a hook back here. This hook has kind of been more and less organized over time. If you put this into motion, you can see that. It looks maybe a little less organized at the moment, but it's been very persistent. And sometimes that's all you need. You just need the right kind of combination there. And so we'll keep watching this, and Patrick, you've sent video. I think I got your video earlier. I did see that video earlier. Now, seconds are lifetimes in this, so I'm not able to really speak for what was sent 5, 6, 7 minutes ago. I know Matt is monitoring things too. But that video from earlier is really the best thing we've gotten. Go ahead, Matt. Okay, now it's mostly hail reports out of the storm right now, and the hail is definitely a concern in this storm. And there is more rain headed into the Ennis area. Again, this is that kind of elongated cell over from Waxahachie over to Ennis. So Patrick, it looks like your message may not quite have arrived yet. So we'll watch and see when that when that arrives. But yeah, so from what I'm seeing, and Patrick, I think I just got your latest message. Just got a new video. And when you speed it up, Matt, I don't know if you're seeing the same thing, but when you speed it up, there's rotation there. It's just very slow. So it's almost hard to see if you're not watching it in faster speed, but I want to look back at and I mean, yeah, you can see just based on velocity, weaker broad rotation here, right over Rice. So it's there. It's not, again, it's not as intense as what we saw a few minutes ago. It's not enough to create a tornado. But Teresa, I know you're trying to work. You are, I mean, in Waxahachie right now, we have another thunderstorm that's there, so you're probably still getting rain. There's nothing severe in that area at this moment, though it does look like it's intensifying. So we will need to take a look at that in just a few minutes. But for right now, we're focused on this kind of this possible rotation back towards Rice, monitoring that. Let's get back over to Waxahachie, and I would not be surprised if there's some pea-sized hail here, maybe just a little bit, but really mostly just probably heavy rain out of that. A lot of questions about Corsicana, kind of the main population center that this is in the vicinity of. This looks like it's going to stay north of Corsicana here. So I do think it will stay north of Corsicana. We're starting to get some of this heavier activity in the area of Roan, moving towards Currens. Let me see. And all right, so yep. Now I've got a photo back from Waxahachie of hail that's about 4 inches wide. I'll have to send this in. It's kind of a weird shape, so I'm not sure how they're going to count that. But we will keep watching this notch back here. Looks like that's kind of folding back into the storm a little bit, but it's been kind of some ebb and flow. So we'll continue to keep an eye on that. And moving towards Currens area, over towards Trinidad right now, is kind of the leading edge of the heavier rain and possibly the hail there too. So that's what we're watching. And then we're still watching this possible rotation back towards the Rice area. We'll keep an eye on that. And in fact, let's go ahead and take another look at the winds, see what those are doing. Yeah, it looks like any kind of rotation we had is probably losing organization right now. And that, again, that could be temporary. We could be looking at increased rotation over time here. Let me go back and just keep watching these messages. More hail reports there. Okay, yeah, some video from earlier coming in. Again, thank you so much for the Cash App, Venmo donations. I know Matt's doing a good job of posting those, so those do really help. Days like today, that definitely does help things out. Getting more video of maybe this lowering here. Wow, that's really close. That's hard to tell. Hard to tell what we're looking at there, but we'll keep checking those. And Matt has a bigger screen than I do to actually observe those things. So, and Mike, I did get your video. Mike Butler, it's really close. It's almost hard to see because you're so close. Sometimes it's one of those things you got to get a big picture, but I do appreciate you sending that, though. That does kind of give us an idea of what kind of motion is going on there. But I want to make sure that you're watching in the Currens area because you're not dealing with rotation right now. The hail threat is going to be what moves towards between Currens and Trinidad here. Let me kind of broaden this out and give you an idea there. The heaviest hail is just north of Roan right now. That's going to continue to move on to the southeast into the Currens area towards Trinidad. So we're really getting closer to the Henderson County line here now. So again, far eastern Navarro County, northern Navarro County here, eastern Navarro County. We'll be dealing with this. That's going to be moving towards Highway 31. So this is going to continue to move to the southeast, and this severe thunderstorm warning continues in effect. I would say this storm, the severe storm is pretty much out of Ellis County at this point. So it's moved out of the Ennis area, extending from Rice to Valley Farms, again, all the way down towards the Kearns area. So that will be the next area kind of dealing with the severe weather here. And that's what we will be watching very, very closely. So if you're in northern or eastern Navarro County at this time, you do need to be watching very, very closely as this continues to move through. I am increasingly concerned about the hail sizes here because it does look like this is cycling up a little bit. Let me put this into motion here and we'll see what the last, well, it looks like it's kind of staying steady. Yeah, well, there we go. So you kind of see this eye here. That's your increasing hail threat. That will be moving towards Bazette and then down towards the Kearns and Trinidad area there. Okay, a new severe thunderstorm watch issued. And we'll have to wait and see what that's going to look like in the next few minutes to see what areas possibly are included in that. Really, it should be, at this point, I would think that, I mean, all 4 of our counties are in this severe thunderstorm warning. So unless it's being extended, or the watch rather, Ellis County has been canceled from the severe thunderstorm warning. So that's an update. We'll have to wait and see where that watch is including until the moment. But okay, and yeah, so that hook that we're looking at back towards Rice really looks like it's kind of losing some of that shape. So it looks like that's ramping down for the moment. We'll have to watch and see if that's going to maintain itself. Now, we could be looking at more unstable air as this continues to move eastward. So we'll have to keep an eye on that as this continues. So from Chatfield to Montfort to Bazette is really the biggest hail threat right now. And that's going to continue to move on to the southeast. That may pass north of Kearns. We'll have to keep kind of watching this motion. It's moving southeasterly, and it almost seems like there's kind of an eastern pull there, but it is moving southeasterly for sure, towards 31. So the Kearns area over to Trinidad, you need to be watching this very closely. That's the direction the storm is going to be moving through. And here at the studio, we're getting more sunlight. So we've got sun behind the storms here. And we'll zoom out again to look at the whole area. Nothing in Hill and Johnson counties right now, so everything is clear there for now. Almost looking at a circulation, not tornadic, but almost looking at a kind of maybe a little bit of a rotation here. Not sure what's going on there, but looks like we have the stationary front here, probably something relating to that, but that could be a point of new storm creation there, a focal point, but we'll have to watch and see. This heavier cell from the Ennis area towards Lake Waxahachie, that is, it's not severe at this point, just some moderate to maybe a little bit of heavy rain. North of Ferris is another kind of cluster of thunderstorms, nothing severe. The only severe storm is this supercell that we have been following for the last several minutes. The rotation seems to have waned a bit in that cell, which is a good thing generally here. Let me kind of get my bearings back here. All right, so more hail reports coming in your comments or your messages. I appreciate that. This is the storm we're watching. This is the same supercell that we have been sitting on. It is moving towards the... It is moving towards the Kearns and Trinidad areas. So that hail core looks to be kind of intensifying at the moment. Okay, and then that looks to be, see, it kind of cycles up and down. So, but you do need to still be concerned about hail here in northeastern Navarro County. Let's take a closer look at the velocity here. Let's see how that's doing. Definitely a lot less organized than it was. That's a great sign to have. Looking south of Rice here, southeast really of Rice. Less organized now at this point, and then getting closer again to the Kearns area. Could be some gustier winds, but not seeing the kind of rotation that we saw just a few minutes ago. Still plenty of a hail threat, though. And all right, so going back in some messages, I'm trying to go through and see what other things are talking about, what other conversations are going on. Not much at the moment. Things have kind of settled down a little bit, it seems. And all right, let me get. I've just been sent a picture that someone commented on WFAA's report with Pete Delkus's post saying to follow South Metro weather. So that's pretty cool. So if you were watching the WFAA report, doesn't look. I don't know if they're on air. Are they on air right now or not? Are they live? It's 6:43. It looks like it's after their newscast. They're 6 o'clock. Are they live? They're not live covering right now, are they? Odds are, I guess somebody just commented on their static post saying, hey, there's a severe thunderstorm going in Navarro County. Well, here I am, right? That's why we're doing this, because you do need some reports of what's actually happening here instead of just, hey, by the way, you got storms coming. We try to give you a little more detail than that. And yeah, there's some talk about the storms in Mississippi, Alabama right now. Okay, and that's a conversation for another time. Talk about a derecho in Mississippi, Alabama. Seems similar to squall lines here. That's I'll have to make a video about that or something. We'll have to talk about that maybe another time. So now CBS 11. That's Aaron Moran. I imagine is on air right now. Aaron or possibly the chief up there. They've got an Ellis County connection, so that's a good thing. All right, so what's the Venmo? We can post that, Matt, if you'll do me that wonderful favor of getting that up there. And then I do want to mention too, I've been forgetting to do this, and I know people like it. There's the radar only stream. Okay, so that's where you see the whole area, the radar for the whole area, and it that will allow you to see everything, all 4 counties, without me bouncing around between things here, zooming in and out. So it's only on YouTube though. So exclusively on the YouTube channel is that stream, and thank you, Matt, for throwing that up there. It's only on YouTube. It shows the whole area, no audio, no nothing. It's just the radar. So I know some folks appreciate that, so that's available to you. If you're watching on Facebook, give the YouTube stream a chance. I know that there's many times, and let me kind of get restarted here. Seems my looks like the connection here. Okay, I think I'm back. I think Matt, I think that updated on me, and I think that's why that messed up there. So I think that's why that happened. So Rachel and Justin, thank you so much for the donations via Venmo. That is greatly appreciated. Thank you so much. Forgive me, but I'm ready for this type of weather to be over. I hear you. I get it. This has been exhausting, and I mean, even for me, there's other projects I've been trying to work on for you folks. Some exclusive content for subscribers on YouTube or Facebook rather. You've got an exclusive video coming soon that I think you're going to enjoy. The thing is, though, I don't know. I've been looking at this. Is just a quick aside. Since things have kind of ramped down just a little bit. But I've been looking at the possibility of changing that up a little bit. It's not going away. Nothing's changing right now. But if you're a Facebook subscriber and they're paying that monthly fee, number one, you're awesome. Number two, like I said, you do have some exclusive content coming. And three, we did Patreon before, which allows multiple platforms to do the same thing. We could possibly look at doing that if that would be easier. I mean, I guess it doesn't matter to people, but just give me your feedback on that, and we'll get into the exclusive group and talk about that as well. But there is some exclusive content for subscribers coming. So if you want to see that, become a Facebook subscriber. I would greatly appreciate it. I think it's $5 a month that you pay that supports this organization. You'd be surprised how quickly all of your support adds up, and it makes a big, big difference. It really, really does every month. So it's great. So we will definitely, you've got the exclusive content coming, and that support does matter. And if anything changes, you'll know well ahead of time. But I just want to make sure that it's easiest for everyone following this channel, because I know that there's people that are following the YouTube channel now too that may not want to be on Facebook. So we're going to work out how we can do that, how we can make it easiest for you to support us and get that exclusive content, that kind of thing. And DJ in the comments there from KTX Transport using the Q word. I'm not going to repeat that, but things are calm in Ellis County right now. There's a few thunderstorms there, but no severe weather in Ellis County at the moment. It looks, well, any hail that was in Bardwell is past now, so that's looks like that's in the past. Should not be something that we're dealing with right now. Let me get back over to where I can see some of your messages. Those have been flurrying in. And we'll need to take a look at that hook again as well. Another view of what looks like a lowering mile east of 45 right near the county line. So more a video of a lowering. Looks like that has shrunk. It's not as organized as it was. Again, looks like that any kind of rotation has folded. Yeah, a lot less organized now. Much less organized here. So looks like that rotation has dropped off greatly over there in northern Navarro County. So things are looking a lot better. Let me get caught up here. Yeah, Rachel and Justin, thank you so much for your donations on Venmo. I think we're caught up there. And then I'll get back into the chat session here and try to answer some questions coming in there too. Let's see. Is there still gargantuan hail out of this storm? I'm not getting any kind of reports of hail sizes, at least not that I can see. Matt may be better at keeping track of that than I am, but 45 and 287 look like hail. Maybe, I would say that's at least golf ball sized hail, maybe getting close to baseball sized hail. So not confirmed because it was someone holding it in their hand, so I didn't see a measurement. And thank you, Robin, for the donation through Venmo. I greatly appreciate that. Let me get back to, yeah, the Facebook page. Send the Facebook page or my email, kevin@southmetroweather.com, for those pictures, videos, that kind of stuff. That's going to be the best place to send that. I am monitoring all of that the best I can. Again, there's a lot of it coming in, and I'm standing here, so not sitting at a desk anymore, so it's a little harder for me to keep track of sometime. And in case you missed the stream earlier, you may have to go back and watch earlier in the stream. This will be posted later where you can go back and watch. I did put hail in the Dr. Pepper. That was kind of a fun moment until we started looking at the rotation. Then we had to get a lot more serious. But Dr. Pepper's still good with hail in it, so that's the thing. I mean, you know, I gotta have ice in my drink, right? I mean, that's just how it goes. So if we keep having these storms, we get more hail here the next couple of days, we should be getting rid of this pattern in the next day or two. Today is Wednesday. I think tomorrow we're supposed to start getting rid of this pattern, but if there's more, then we'll find another drink to put it in. Okay, so there's a report of golf ball sized hail in Ennis earlier. That was quite a bit earlier. We've had a lot of change in that storm since then. It still kind of wants to hold on to this curve here. So, you know, we'll keep watching this to see if the rotation is going to kind of cycle back. But I will say that I'm increasingly concerned about the Kearns area. We'll zoom in here. From Kearns on, again, to Trinidad and Malakoff there to over in Henderson County. I know I've got some friends in the Elm Flat area, and we'll be watching this as it moves down. It looks like it may stay east of the Elm Flat area right now, or when it moves in. The rotation is not significant right now. In fact, the rotation really has kind of gone away for the moment, and doesn't look like that's organized enough. We will keep checking that, though. In fact, let's go ahead and do that. We've got an update here. Yeah, I'm still not seeing any kind of organized rotation back in the backside of this storm. So not concerned about rotation at this moment. That lowering, that wall cloud may still be there, may still kind of be hanging around, but there's nothing to rotate it. So that's kind of where things stand right now. The biggest threat from this storm right now is going to be the hail. So if you're watching, again, in the Kearns area over to Trinidad, this is where that hail is going to be moving the next several minutes. You're under that severe thunderstorm warning, and rightfully so, as that hail threat continues to move on to the southeast. And that continues until 7:30. So this warning has another half hour attached to it. I would say it's going to be in Kearns and in Trinidad, but really in the next 10 to 15 minutes that you'll start seeing the hail there. Really, it could be sooner than that. It's moving at a decent pace. I've heard 30 to 35 miles per hour here for that storm speed. Let's see if that changed with the issuance of this warning. I doubt it. 25 miles per hour. Okay, so it may actually be slowing down. My mistake. It's getting further away from the stationary front, so I guess it makes sense that that it might be slowing down. We might be losing some of the drive that it had to keep going. Obviously, as it slows down, if we start getting to 20 to 15 miles per hour, flooding will become a bigger problem, because the slower the storm actually displaces, the longer it takes for that heavy rain to get out of there, and that could very well lead to more issues when it comes to it doesn't get to the point where I'm losing my track of thought here, because I'm trying to watch this hail core here. Basically, if the storm's not moving quick enough, it's not going to get out of there, not going to get the flooding rains out of your vicinity. If your weatherman doesn't have hail in their Dr. Pepper, do they even know what they're doing? You can probably argue the other way too. If your weatherman has hail in their Dr. Pepper, what in the world are they doing? I mean, that's a possibility. But we could be seeing hail up to 2 inches out of this storm. So, ping pong ball, golf ball sized hail possible, even up to baseball sized hail, I would say, is possible from this storm. And it's been cycling up and cycling down, and it looks like it's cycling up right now. But just bear in mind, too, that if you hear reports of baseball-sized hail, that doesn't mean every hailstone is going to be baseball-sized. You're probably going to see a variation. You'll see baseball-sized hail, maybe some ping-pong-sized hail, maybe some golf ball-sized hail, mixed in maybe with some pea-sized hail. So not every hailstone you see is going to be that large. It's going to be kind of a variety. So just keep that in mind. Someone asking about Sioux Falls, and that's way outside of my area. So we are in north central Texas, between Dallas and Waco is our coverage area. I don't know that I could convince the South Metro crowd to let me go that far out. I think they would probably dislike that a little bit. So we'll keep it here local for right now. The radar-only stream continues. If you do want to just watch this on radar and you want to just kind of get rid of all the other focus, okay, I'm hearing that the National Weather Service says that the storm at the Navarro Henderson County line may only be marginally severe at this time. So if that is true, okay, well we're seeing that latest update now, where, wow, that looks to be a kind of a rapid weakening there, if that's accurate. Now, as I mentioned yesterday, the further away from the radar we're looking, the higher up the beam is. So arguably, we're looking higher up in the storm, so you would think that any hail we would see, we would get a good view of it. So it appears to be weakening at this point. If it is, that just looks really rapid to me. But the National Weather Service says they're hanging on to this warning for a little longer. It does look to be shrinking. I mean, you notice that it's really moved out of the Kearns area. So this storm could be going through a rapid weakening trend. So that's going to continue on towards Trinidad here, towards Malakoff, but it could rapidly be weakening. It does look to be moving more easterly. So, it's possible that that storm could be quickly falling apart. I mean, we still have daytime, we still have daylight, we still have daytime heating. So, as it's moving further away from the stationary front, it's possible, okay, very possible that it could be moving away from the most unstable area. If it's moving away from here, now it's still in the warm sector, but it's possible that now that it's moving further away from the stationary front, it's kind of losing that push. He thought Midlothian was in the clear, but sirens just now went off again. You could be hearing a siren from like an ambulance or something. I'm not hearing any reports of outdoor warning sirens in Midlothian. If there are, it's probably an error because there's nothing in the Midlothian area right now. Nothing there. So I'm not sure what that would be referring to, but what you may be hearing something that's not necessarily, related to the storms. So I think we're caught up on the donations in Venmo and Cash App on the, thanking you folks. I do, again, greatly appreciate that. Looks like things are ramping down here for the moment. We'll stay on air just for a few minutes because I'm skeptical of how quickly that appears to be weakening here. Matt, are you hearing anything about sirens in Midlothian? I'm just not hearing that anywhere else. That's interesting. Not sure what's going on there, but there's no severe weather threatening that area for sure. But this is the storm we've been following, and that's looks to be quickly moving to the east here. So it's kind of shifted eastward, which makes me think that could confirm the weakening trend there. And in the Ennis area, there is this small cell. I'd be surprised if there was hail in that. I guess some pea-sized hail could be possible, but it's not likely at this time there in that storm. So I really don't think that we're going to be dealing with a hail situation there. But, still some rain, could be some heavier rain mixed in with that, and that's quickly moving on to the east, but it's not severe at this time. That's the main thing to remember there. So, once again, I want to go back through, now that we have a moment, looks like we could be done at least for a little while. I'm going to have to keep watching this because this has already been a rowdy night. We could have more. But I do want to talk, again, if you do want to support our efforts, there is the Cash App, the Venmo that you can give to. There's also the Super Thanks on YouTube that you can give to as well. I don't think I've seen any of those come through, but I could have missed those and how quickly the messages were popping up there. We do have the radar-only stream that allows you to monitor those thunderstorms, anything in the area, just with radar, without me having to, without watching or listening to me, watching me bounce around on the radar here. And then if you are not subscribed yet to the YouTube channel, please go do that. The YouTube video content is much more clear. We didn't have a daily forecast video today because I was trying my hardest to catch up on some things I definitely need to be paying attention to. So, I had to do that. Now, David Hatley, you're talking about, we were under a burn ban last year. David, what I would say is that can be tricky. We're looking at, it's June 14th right now. If we don't get any more rain between now and then, what could happen and what could motivate a burn ban between now and then is all this rain could grow all the vegetation, okay, for the next week. Another week after that, if we don't get any rain between now and then, it could start to dry up. So what happens sometimes if you get a wet June or a wet early June, and then it's dry from there, if it's really dry, and a lot of that rain, you get enough rain to grow the vegetation, and then you get enough of it to dry things out, get enough sunlight to dry things out rather. you have a lot of thick, dry vegetation. So, that can cause its own set of problems because then you have more grass to burn because of how dry it is. So don't count out a burn ban yet. Now, we are in a great situation, but it's one of those things that you never really can tell. Texas summers are harsh, and we're getting into triple digits very, very soon. So I wouldn't get too excited about, getting rid of the burn bans. But now, I will also say that usually fireworks are exempted from burn bans. Now, I believe last year there were some exceptions made because of just how incredibly dry and dangerous it was. But it's hard to cancel fireworks because, from what I can tell, those bring a lot of money in. So folks really don't like to cancel those this time of year. And you have folks that I've talked to that are very defensive of their fireworks. I mean, my gosh, there are a lot of things that don't rattle them, but you talk about their fireworks and suddenly they come unglued. So I get it. But, we will have to keep an eye on that. And it's not a guarantee that we won't have a burn ban. But again, even when you do have a burn ban, normally they allow the fireworks to go ahead. As problematic as they can be, that's just kind of a reality. So now there was a question about a squall line or a derecho. And derechos are something that I'm not as familiar with. Those are not something we traditionally have in our area. That's going to be more, again, like you talked about, east of here, Dixie Alley, up into the Midwest. But my understanding is that I think a derecho is, if there's any difference to talk about, some of it might be semantics. Some of that may just be, derechos are more colloquially discussed and a terminology used more in the Midwest. But when you get down to technicalities, I don't know the exact technical definition that differs between the two. My guess, really, would be probably, I would say it's probably going to have to be wind speed. I think at one point, you no longer have actually, now that I think about it, it's probably a difference between a squall line doesn't necessarily have wind with it. A squall line, it's really kind of a colloquial term for a quasi-linear convective system, okay? QLCS. That's when you have a straight line of storms. The derecho is the winds associated with that. So if anything, it's probably a difference in a feature that exists within another one. And the severe thunderstorm warning has been canceled here. That's gone. So this storm no longer considered severe here, and we'll go back to a full view of the whole area, just so you kind of see that. So we do have the cell south of Ennis. Looks like that's not severe, non-severe storm near occurrence as well, but it looks like that's all moving to the east, southeast. New cell south of Waxahachie that we'll have to watch, but not doing anything right now. But derecho, squall line, we'll make a video on that. We can make that a weather FAQ topic. I'm excited to get those started. It's been hard to do that the last few weeks with as much activity as we've had. But we'll make that a topic and kind of talk about derechos and why we don't use that term as much here as it is back east. So we'll see what the conversation is there. Derecho is essentially a land hurricane. It can feel that way. It's definitely straight line winds, right? And we have those all the time here, but I think probably in order to qualify as a derecho, it probably has to be a much larger area, right? You hear about these derechos in Iowa and Missouri and Indiana that are just very large swaths of land. So that may be the difference there. But I am going to, I guess if we want, now I don't know how long you guys want me on air here, but I guess I can grab my dinner here. And if we want to stay on, I don't know if you care for me to stay on air or not. I'm sure most of you are probably going to bounce after this. But if we want to make this a little more of an informal session here, I'm going to sit for one. But if we want to talk about, we'll keep the radar going here. See if I can lower the camera a little bit. But if you have any questions, yes, my son experienced one while he was living in Illinois. Yeah, so again, Midwest is really kind of the area where you're more commonly going to see this. And since the conversation has slowed, all the comments and everything, if there's any questions that you want answered or anything like that, any kind of suggestions you have, we can do that. What I'll do is I'll put the radar behind me. Looks like everything's weakening. So really at this point, rather than me turning the stream off and going away, and then the second I turn the stream off, the storms pop up, which is what usually happens, we can just kind of hang out and have a conversation, and you know, I can answer any questions you might have. Which is a change of pace. Yeah, so Waxahachie, things have cleared out for the moment. Again, you can kind of see there's this new cell popping up. It's not doing anything right now. We'll have to keep an eye on that too and kind of see where that goes. But that, I think that we could be looking at a better situation. And you're asking, how is my day? My day is great. You know, it's going really well. Busy, obviously, but yeah, nothing in Corsicana right now. As you can see, Corsicana is clear. Nothing to be talked about there. So, I mean, this is weird. This is the first time I've kind of done this, but my feet are killing me. I've got some pain that's kind of developed there, so I have to respect that. But again, if I just turn this stream off, and you can ask, I mean, Matt will confirm it for you, how many times have I turned this stream off and all of a sudden something blows up? I mean, this cell south of Ennis looks like that could be strengthening, so we'll keep an eye on that too. But, you know, might as well keep on air and answer some questions and those kind of things, so that if the storms do actually swell up, hey, at least I'm here to, you know, just go right back on live. But I am going to eat my dinner because I got to eat sometime, and my wife made food that is just too good to resist. Okay, so again, I'm just going to kind of take a chance to take things easy here, and you know, I can answer some questions if you do have those. So you're asking, will the storm near Ennis become anything significant? Well, we don't know. That's what I'm watching right now. It's in the wake of this other storm. So presumably the air has stabilized at this point. The atmosphere has stabilized, but it's also it doesn't have the competition of the storm, right, to allow it or to keep it from strengthening too much. So it's possible that that storm could, you know, strengthen up just because it's not competing with this one. But we'll keep an eye on that one. That's one reason I'm staying on air, is because we could have to shift gears again to that storm. But we'll watch and see if we're actually going to have to do that. Okay, let's see. Asking what's for dinner. So we have discovered these pan meals, these cooking pan meals, and essentially what you do is we put them on like a big cooking sheet and a big pan, and throw it in the oven for, you know, however long, and it's really good. I mean, if there's chicken, potatoes, and broccoli, all seasoned, very good. It's easy. That's the thing, is as parents and as a business owner who works all weird hours, we spend a lot of time tired. So, and my wife, you know, taking care of the kids all day. It's easy, but it's not as bad for you. It's a pretty decent meal. So that's what I'm munching on right now. Headed home to Malakoff on 45, and it looks like we're about to hit the rain in Ennis. Well, if you will report what you see in that storm, if you see any hail or anything, that'd be great. Yeah, the pan meals, yeah, they're great. Making eggs for dinner with lots of veggies. Man, that sounds good. Eggs are just everybody eats eggs for breakfast, but eggs are just fantastic anytime. Crystal, you're asking, are we expecting storms next week? Well, here's the thing. we're not now. I will say that I thought maybe today was supposed to be calm. I mean, I wasn't expecting storms today, but it looks like maybe we're looking at more activity. Obviously we had the activity today. Could be looking at more activity tomorrow. But next week, unfortunately, if you don't like the heat, next week we're supposed to be in the triple digits. I mean, we'll get up to 98, 99. Looks like we'll be in the 100-degree range Friday, Saturday, and really on from there through at least next Wednesday. So tomorrow the forecast is, I think, low to mid 90s. Again, depending on where the stationary front is, the temperatures have been challenging because wherever the stationary front is sitting, that determines your temperatures. If you're on the north side, it's going to be a little cooler. Yesterday, we were a good 10 degrees cooler than I thought. I thought the front would be a little further south. Turns out it was, thought it'd be further north. Turns out it was further south, so we were on the cool side. And so, we were able to cool off pretty nicely. But, it's one of those things where, we were able to get a nice cool day in, but that won't be lasting long. We are headed for the 100-degree mark next week. I'll grab another bite here. Keep the questions coming. This is great, and we, like I said, we can keep an eye on the radar here too. Jayla, I think I missed the first half of your question. Okay, Saturday, yeah, it looks like the storms are out of here. Upper 90s to around 90 degrees for Saturday. So Saturday just hot. And if you're in the Corsicana area, the further south you were, the warmer it got. Okay, so we were in the low to mid 80s in Ellis County. You could have been in the close to 90 in the Corsicana area yesterday. So we do have this storm near Rice. Looks to be strengthening a little bit. Let's take a quick look. Yeah, we could be looking at some small hail moving into the Rice area right now. I don't know if David Hatley, I don't know if you're still watching. He's in the Rice area. Might be able to tell us what we're getting there. But that storm near Rice does look like it's intensifying here. You see here. That latest message on Facebook, definitely don't. Okay. Shalina, you're saying that you just got an emergency alert for destructive hail in your area until 7:30. You're going through Ennis. Interesting. Okay, so that would be, Shalina, that's probably the warning that you had earlier. If you're just getting it, it may have been a signal issue, but that would have been the severe thunderstorm warning that had the destructive hail tag with it. That warning has been canceled, but if you're just now getting that, my guess would be that's probably a signal issue. It's a delayed arrival of that notification. Asking what I'm eating. I'm eating a pan meal with chicken, potatoes, and some broccoli here. So very good stuff. So yeah, I'm not sure why. So it sounds like the EAS may not be, the emergency alert system may not be updating because it was canceled. So I wonder if when it was canceled, somehow it triggered it again. But there's no warning in the Ennis area right now. So it sounds like something happened where you're getting a delayed message on that warning. Not sure what's going on there. Okay, so this storm is continuing in the Rice area, and I want to pull that up because what you're looking at is I don't have hail confirmed in this one. I'm not getting any messages about that, but it is we are still seeing what could be some small hail from Rice over towards Chatfield. So northern Navarro County right now. This is not warned. This is not a severe warned storm. Shalina, all you're getting is rain. So yeah, no confirmation or no reports of hail right now in this storm. But that's not to say that we, couldn't have something going on, shortly. And I know that we have plenty of folks in the Rice area. So, if it were hailing there, I'm pretty sure we'd be getting confirmation of it. So there may not be any hail right now. It looks like it could just be heavy rain moving through Rice and Chatfield, heading towards Montfort and Roan and Bezette here in the next several minutes. And I'm just going to I'm going to try to finish this up here. Check messages here too. Trying to reply to some stuff that I've gotten here. Okay, Ennis is just under a watch from what I can see. Yeah, so the severe thunderstorm watch continues, at least for now. Now that may be canceled for our area if we're not getting any new development. We'll take another look here. Nothing new right now. This little cell tried to do something south of Waxahachie, but that kind of moved through and didn't really do anything there. And then obviously we've been watching this little storm south of Ennis in the Rice area over towards Chatfield. And thank you again for the donations on the Cash App, the Venmo, all that good stuff. That is always appreciated. Always appreciated. It does make a difference, and it keeps this free because it makes it to where I can do this full time and give this the kind of full time dedication it deserves. So if you're still interested in that, there's the Cash App and the Venmo. Shalina, you're 3 miles from there. More worried about flash flooding from heavy rain. Yeah, and that's the thing is the area where that storm just moved through has, it's got more heavy rain. So, more of what you don't need in that storm. So, flooding will be possible here because plenty of heavy rain's already moved through this area, and now you're getting another dose of it. So if you're in a flood-prone area, that may be a concern. No discussion about the storm from the National Weather Service. So again, no news is good news in that area. All right, yeah, lots of pictures of the hail on social media. Um, so may have to put a post up just asking for hail pictures because I know there's plenty of them. Not that I've probably gotten the majority of them at this point. Um, yeah, hail pictures all over the place. Um, all right, so cool. So right now, obviously, this is a lot less formal than what we usually do here. But I didn't want to jump off the stream and then this blows up and then I have to start it over again. And I needed to eat something, so we're just kind of doing an informal, ask questions, let's chat, that kind of thing. I do want to plug, which is funny because of the name. My friend Jeremy Robinson just started a podcast. Looks like it's on Spotify. The Jeremy Show Podcast Unplugged. So I'm gonna try to find out. It's on. It is on Spotify. I'm gonna try to see if it's on Apple as well. Doesn't look like it is. So I think it's, I think it's just on Spotify. But if you're on Spotify and you like podcasts, go check out Jeremy Robinson. He's right here in this area. He's on KBEC, which is the radio station here in Waxahachie. So go check that out. Go subscribe to that, and I'm sure he would greatly appreciate it. He should be on the air. Maybe not right now. I think he's done on the air in Waxahachie right now, 4 to 7. Of course, tomorrow night he'll be at the Texas Theater doing that live show, so that'll be great. So I just got a message from Stacy. Thank you for sending that. That the storm near Rice looks to be getting taller. It looks like it could be growing. So we can look at those echo tops here. Looks like that storm was taller. It may not be as tall now. So it could be starting to try to weaken or something. Power out in southeast Ellis County, FM 1182. Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure that storm made some power outages for sure. I wouldn't be surprised about that. So I'm sure you see this little thing here. I don't think that's rotation. It's definitely curved. If it's trying to rotate at all, it's not going to do much. There's just not enough structure there. Let me get this message here. Okay, in Rice and there's no rain. Yeah, so it's past the Rice area now. It's moving east of Rice now, so looks like it's kind of wrapped up there. And I do want to mention too, and I mentioned this before, but if you got hail and you need someone to look at your roof, Synergy Roofing will climb up there for you free of charge. Their inspections are free. And they will they'll get up there and look at it for you, and you don't have to climb up there by yourself. I personally don't like climbing on my roof So I love the fact that they will check it for me, if I need them to. So, that just keep that in mind, bear that in mind, and Synergy Roofing will, any of the areas that were impacted today, from Ellis County to northern Navarro County, they will service. They will check those. And so get on that list and let Steve or Andrew or any of the guys come out there and check your roof, look it over, see what you got. You may get a new roof. Everybody's intimidated by insurance claims and those kind of things. They won't do the claim for you, but they'll make sure you have the information that you need to provide to the insurance company, and they'll help you understand things better, arm you with the knowledge you need to handle that claim properly. So they help you from start to finish, and they're not going to be one of these folks that's going to be walking through Waxahachie tomorrow. Waxahachie is going to be littered with roofers tomorrow, putting things on your door, all that kind of stuff. But man, I'm telling you, the best thing to do is to call Synergy Roofing. They're not going to be one of these companies that's out there banging down your door. The kind of people that are going to just show up one day, you never heard of them before. And sometimes you even have, unfortunately, these people that, not all of them, but some of these people that will show up to your door, get your deposit, and then you never see them again. So Synergy Roofing is not like that. They're not going to do that. So just make sure that you're working with somebody reputable. And they're the official roofer of South Metro Weather. So they're great, and they can get the job done. Let me go check on that. Okay. Weird notification from YouTube, but I think we're good. So any other questions I can answer out there? It looks like this storm in the Rice area is falling apart, so I don't think we'll have to pay attention to that. Well, I think, now, hopefully I don't jinx something into happening as soon as we end this stream, but I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. Give me a chance to check in with the family, see what they're doing. Of course, I'll be monitoring this to see if we are going to get any more storms tonight. It'll give me a chance to kind of rest a little bit. And if we do have any more storms this evening, of course, those updates will be posted. The Severe Thunderstorm Watch is still here, though I'm sure that will probably be canceled here pretty shortly. So thank you so much for tuning in, and stay tuned throughout the evening for more updates in case we have more storms, and then stay tuned because more storms are possible tomorrow. I'll see you soon.